nonprofit organizations that are focused on the most under-resourced communities in our country are really vital to community health and safety. Developing a robust community infrastructure where there's neighbors helping neighbors, people recognized within community as trusted resources to be able to go and help solve problems or address complex issues. So investing in these nonprofit organizations really strengthens the overall continuum of health and safety. The Latino Coalition for Community Leadership is an intermediate organization, and our whole reason for existing is to advance resource equity and community well-being.
We do that through our mission to find, fund, form, and feature nonprofits in marginalized communities.
Each year, we invest more than $10 million into communities most impacted by victimization, by mass incarceration, but that have been traditionally under-resourced to deliver meaningful solutions.
My name is Hassan Latif. I'm the founder of Second Chance Center. We're there to help folks coming back to the community after incarceration.
My name is Christina Cabrera. I am the founder executive director of Healing Urban Barrios. Healing Urban Barrios is a nonprofit organization that focuses on gang intervention, reentry services.
My name is Leo Ailides, and I founded Lifeline Colorado. We provide in-reach and reentry services, youth violence reduction, and mental health and substance abuse services. The Latino Coalition.
The Latino Coalition.
Latino Coalition for Community Leadership.
Without them, I don't think Lifeline Colorado would be where Lifeline Colorado is at now.
What does an intermediary organization do? You could look at it as we get money to give money. We find funding from state government, funding from the city government, funding from different places to give to the nonprofits on the ground. So our role is to provide access to those nonprofits to funding that they probably would never have a chance to access, simply because it's very complex to receive federal and state dollars.
So often we hear from government agencies and other foundations that are well-intentioned in creating a grant pool, but lament that it seems like the resources don't get to the right people. And that can be really hard to find the right organizations. Latino Coalition is very connected to the community. We're looking for who's having a big impact, and for an organization that's an organic part of the community fabric.
I'm 4 generations in this community, going through my own traumas, seeing it also with people that I love. I just want to empower my community that we're there for them, so they didn't have to have it so hard as I did. But I was a novice executive director, I was doing events out of my pocket.
Actually, I was still on parole when I started Second Chance Center, because at that point I was operating on whatever was left in my pockets after I paid my bills. When I met Latino Coalition for Community Leadership, they saw something that gave them an indication that I was serious about this work, that I really needed somebody to help me find the resources to fuel this vision and this work.
A lot of other intermediaries are really a pass-through. They get the money and they give the money, which is good. But what sets us apart is that we don't only give the money, we also come alongside with our staff and build their capacity and really help them achieve the results and the outcomes with the funding that they receive.
Besides just the funding, they taught me about budgets, they taught me about capacity building, they taught me about grants, they taught me about data, how I speak to other philanthropists, how I speak to other people, other corporations that want to do funding.
They have helped form my organization to be able to really adhere to not just the city, but the state and to federal responsibilities under the fundings that we do receive.
It is the reporting, the data, the accounting systems, all of those types of things that trip up a smaller organization, because that's not why they got into the work that they are doing. But it's very necessary for government and philanthropic sources to understand how are their dollars being stewarded. In 2 decades, we've got monitoring reviews, we've got audits, we've got performance management, we've got research reports and evaluations. All of this data and experience that points to the fact that the LC is a good steward of the resources.
And we're able to steward those resources in a way that complies with a myriad of regulations, but also ensures that we have the intended impact that we set out to have.
And our impact within the community has spread across the country over the years.
20 years ago, we started work in a small number of communities across California, Colorado, Arizona, and Texas. Since then, our work has expanded to many more communities in those states, as well as serving communities in Oregon, Connecticut, and Western New York. After engaging with the LC for the first time, we see community partners grow 400 to even 500% over the first 5 years.
Lifeline is a great example of the impact that the LC can have. For example, in 2018, their organizational budget was 0, the number of funders 0, and number of employees 0. But when we look at 2023, their organizational budget was nearly $5 million with 9 additional funders and 44 staff. Another example of LC's impact is provided by Healing Urban Barrios. In 2018, their organizational budget was 0, number of funders 0, and number of employees also 0. In 2023, their organizational budget was nearly $5 million, number of funders 10, and number of employees 28.
When they're growing that quickly and managing the growth that effectively, that's an asset for the community itself.
Because of the LC's investment, and not just Lifeline Colorado, but other partners that allowed us to really intervene in certain communities, we're able to break some generational curses that are barriers to each individual family and community we serve.
Those dollars are being used to provide social services. It might be job training, it might be leadership development, it might be mentoring.
Over half of our staff are formerly incarcerated folks. So they see people that they walk prison yards with, and now they have lives and they're homeowners and they're helping to raise their grandchildren.
There's some that come in with no education and leave with a high school diploma. There's some that come in that have never had a job. Now they're earning a livable wage.
These are opportunities we never imagined just 10 years ago.
The government is very good at what they do, but they also have their weaknesses and their limits. Intermediaries are the same way, community and faith-based organizations are the same way. So when we approach this collectively and then help those organizations fulfill their own vision and mission, you serve thousands of people at a time. When we're working together that way, we're actually producing better services for the people we care about.